Hari Om. We'll chant verse number 22. उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः. So what Bhagavan had explained as Kshetra and Kshetrajna, he now uses the two other terms, Prakriti and Purusha. So Purusha is Kshetrajna and Prakriti is the very source of all the different contents of the Kshetra. So it is the Avyakta which itself manifests as all the different parts of the Kshetra. So Prakriti and Purush, they are beginningless, and all the manifestation, all matter is born from Prakriti, and that Purusha is that consciousness which is the witness, who is the witness of this Prakriti and also experiences the Sukha and Dukkha. So getting attached to the Prakriti and experiencing this Sukha Dukkha itself is called the bondage or samsara, and that becomes the cause of rebirth also. So karanam gunasangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. So this Purusha attached to the Prakriti is born again and again in different forms. So that Purusha, the pure Purusha, devoid, what you call in its own nature, is indicated in this 22nd verse as Upadrashta. Upadrashta means the witness. So I, that pure consciousness, is the witness. Witness means the seer, without getting involved with what is seen. So there are two different categories altogether. That which is seen and the one who is seeing it. The seeing means not with the eyes, but the witness of it. So the witness is different and what is witnessed is different. So the Purusha is indicated here as the witness. Upadrashta is also indicated as Anumanta. Anumanta means one who permits, one who says yes. Doesn't use the word yes, but one who permits. Means whatever the Prakriti does, the witness is just a witness of it. It doesn't interfere. Just as the light, whatever drama we may do on the stage, the light will just witness it. It will not pass any comments. It will not judge. It will not compare. It will not condemn. It will not restrain anyone or suppress. It will just witness. Similarly, the pure, this Purusha is, it just permits whatever happens, it doesn't interfere with it. Whatever happens according to the laws of nature, according to the laws of Prakriti, it is just, it permits it. It doesn't interfere. Like our electricity, whatever equipment you use, the electricity, it encourages it, doesn't interfere. These are all indicators of that Purusha or Kshetrajna. Another is Bharta. Bharta means the nourisher. Nourisher means it gives existence to the Prakriti, to all that is seen. The seer, the witness, is nourishing, is giving existence to that which is seen. Just as our dream is given existence by the dreamer. As long as the dreamer is dreaming, the dream survives. As soon as the dreamer wakes up, the dream also collapses there. Similarly, the seer gives existence to the seen. The seen by itself cannot exist. It's a subtle point. It is the witness which is giving the existence to that which is witnessed. Without interfering. So the seen cannot exist without the seer, but the seer can exist in its pure form without the seen. So it is the bharta, the support of or nourisher of Prakriti. Then it is also indicated as bhokta, as the enjoyer. So identifying with the mind, identifying with the intellect, identifying with all the various emotions and thoughts and all the experiences which are there, identifying with it, it becomes the enjoyer of all those emotions, because ultimately it is the ultimate experiencer. All other objects of this Prakriti is inert, so the ultimate experiencer is this Purusha only. Just again as the dream. There may be hundreds of people in the dream, but the dreamer is the one who experiences the entire dream. Other than the dreamer, there is no one who is experiencing the dream. Similarly, the bhokta, the Purusha becomes the bhokta, the experiencer of all that is happening in front of it. These are all indicators to meditate and to contemplate on this Purusha. It is also indicated as Maheshwara. Maheshwara means Mahan Ishvara. Ishvara means the ruler, the controller, the one who controls everything. So this Purusha in his universal form is the controller of all the entire Prakriti. He is the one controller of this entire cosmos. Nothing moves without that supreme controller. Therefore, he is called Maha Ishvaraha, Maheshwaraha. But that Purusha is also indicated as Param Atma, Supreme Self. See, we identify with the body, and that also we consider as self, as I. We identify with our senses and consider it as I. But we are also at the same time aware of the senses. So who is the ultimate I, which is the supreme I consciousness? That is that pure consciousness, which is the ultimate subject. So it is indicated here as the supreme subject. Param Atma. Atma means subject. Param means supreme. Supreme subject. Pure subject, in which there is no trace of any objects. Param Atma. Cha api uktaha. In this way, it is indicated, Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. In this body itself, we can recognize that Purusha. We don't have to go to any other place, but just using this body and meditating and shifting our attention, we can recognize that Purusha. So Purusha Paraha, that Param Purusha is in this body also. He is all pervading, but at the same time is in this body, and one can recognize him, means ourself, here and now in this body itself. So this is a very beautiful verse with lot of these indicators. So Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha, Paramatma. Ultimately it is indicated as Param Atma. So these are all indicators of that Supreme Self. So what happens when we recognize this Purusha, means our own self? What will happen when I recognize myself? That is now said in the next verse. Ya evam vetti purusham prakritincha gunais saha sarvatha vartamanopi na sabhuyo bhijayate Ya evam vetti purusham prakritincha gunesaha sarvatha vartamanopi nasabhuyo bhija. Yaha, he who, the seeker, whoever that seeker may be, evam vetti purusham, one who recognizes this Purusha as one's own self. Evam means as indicated in the previous words. Anumanta, Upadrashta Anumanta cha, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha, as indicated, one who recognizes this Purusha, that pure I am, my own being, not being this and that, not being someone. When we become someone, then we lose ourselves. When we drop all becoming, we remain as our own self in its pure form. When we become, we get lost into it. Like the ink. In the good old days, we used to have ink. Nowadays, actually, it's very difficult to see inks, ink pen and all. I remember we used to fill it in with that pump or like the half it used to fall on our body only. So that ink, if you look at it, it's just a color. When you put into the pen, again it is just a color. But when it comes out of that nib and falls on the paper, it takes a particular form. We can write, we can draw, we can write some letters. So we can write A, B, C, D. Then it suddenly gains some form, some character. Then we bring those letters together, it forms a word. That word conveys some emotions. And then we have some sentences made, which further conveys some more things. And then we write a paragraph, a chapter. It whole thing start conveying some wonderful drama, some wonderful event. So when we are reading that book, we are not conscious of the ink. We become so engrossed in the drama that we fail to recognize the ink which is there. Even in the not so interesting book and in the interesting book, the same ink is there. In the book which is talking about a saint and the book talking about the sinner, the same ink is there. If we look at the contents of the book, then we say this is different and that is different. But when we look at the ink, it is same. Everything is same. Similarly, this Purusha, when identified with Prakriti, Prakriti has got variety. All the variety which we see in this world is the variety of matter. not variety of consciousness. Consciousness is one. All variety is variety of matter. But this consciousness gets so much engrossed in the variety that it loses itself, fails to recognize itself. So when we shift our attention from what is seen to the one who is seeing, that pure Purusha, ya evam vetti Purusham, and also knows that this Prakriti is different from this Purusha. He is the witness of this Prakriti. Prakriti is all matter. Prakriti is what constantly changes. So Purusham Prakritincha Gunai Saha, and all these gunas also belongs to the Prakriti. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, it belongs to Prakriti. For example, the various emotions in that novel, it belongs to the words and the sentences and all, which is formed. But in that ink, there are no emotions, there are no novels, there are no events and no variety in it. Now, very interesting. The novel cannot exist without the ink, but the ink can exist without the novel. Prakriti cannot exist without the Purusha, but the Purusha can exist without Prakriti. Our whole game is to recognize that Purusha as it is. Once it is recognized, then it doesn't matter what type of novel is there in front of us. Our life is like a novel. Everyone is like a different novel. Some are Harry Potters, some are simple Potters. All of us are different novels. We have a beginning, we have chapters, we have paragraphs in our thing. We have certain things which are highlighted, certain things which are put into boxes and all. Certain photographs are there. Certain diagrams and some graphs are in our this. All this is there, part of our book of life. Our book of life is written, what you call the main witness of this is that Purusha. But all the changes which is happening is the Prakriti. But this Prakriti is like the expression of this Purusha only ultimately. So one who recognizes this Purusha and also recognizes this Prakriti which is there in front of it. I am seeing, therefore it is there. When I don't see, it is not there. This is a subtle point of Vedanta. Prakriti is there as long as I am witnessing it. I means that Purusha witnesses, then Prakriti is there. When that witnessing stops, the Prakriti also disappears. It's like exactly like our dream. The dream is seen as long as the dreamer is seeing it. As soon as the dreamer wakes